Hello, I'm Wren Murphy of the Inspired Wren, and this is square 4 vertical ribs of the Crochet Along Afghan sampler. What's notable about this fabric, or this square, is that it's reversible. You have ribs on the front of the fabric and ribs on the back of the fabric, and I think that's throwing people off. I've been getting feedback that they don't understand exactly how the stitch works. So let me show you here. Where there's a solid space on the back of the fabric, there's a rib on the front, and likewise where there's a solid space on the front of the fabric, there's a rib on the back. So the ribs are kind of alternating their placement on the fabric. As a result, you'll have 9 ribs across the front and 8 ribs across the back. And that creates a slightly different stitch than you see when you sometimes see vertical ribs where you're using a back post crochet. We're not going to use a back post crochet here. And let me show you how that's done. We're starting with a foundation row. In this case, I've got a foundation row of half double crochet. You want your foundation row to have multiples of 4 stitches, and then at the end add 3 additional stitches. In our pattern for square 4, that is 35 stitches across. So this would be row 1, and you can see here it's slightly smaller because I'm not going to do all 35 stitches. Row 2, it says chain 1. It's not going to count here and throughout, so we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn. You can turn first and then chain. I've just always found it easier to chain first and then turn. Then single crochet, easy enough. And now you're going to do your first front post double crochet into the foundation row. So here we have a front post double crochet. And now we're going to begin the repeat. Single crochet 3 times. So I'm going to make sure I skip that one in the back. And I'm going to single crochet 3 times. 2, 3. And now I'm going to front post double crochet again. I'm going to make sure I leave 1, 2, 3 of the half double crochets, and I'm going to front post double crochet into that next stitch. And that is 1 repeat. If you do it properly, that is 1 repeat. And then we're going to go again. 3 single crochet. I'm going to make sure I skip that stitch in the back. You don't want to accidentally stitch right into that one. That one should be skipped because it's the front post. It's not skipped, you've just done a front post into it. So then we're going to do the 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm going to make sure I have 1, 2, 3 half double crochets in front of me, and I'm going to front post double crochet into that 4th. And that's another repeat. We're going to keep doing that repeat across the row, across the length of your foundation chain, or your foundation row, I should say. So across all 35. And so that means you're going to do the repeat a total of 8 times. I'm not going to do it 8 times here in this video because I've done a shorter sample swatch for you here. I've done this a couple times with this yarn and now it keeps splitting on me. That's my mistake. Alright, so here's the last of my repeats. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to front post double crochet right there. Blue. And now a single crochet. And after the repeats, you'll note on row 2, you repeat 8 times and then you do 1 single crochet. Don't miss that last single crochet. That's what gives you 35 stitches across. What's going on here? Let's try that again. Don't miss that last single crochet. If you skip that, you'll only have 34 stitches instead of 35. And that's row 2 done into the foundation row. They're not really popping just yet. They'll pop as we move on. We're going to move on to row 3 now. Chain 1. Turn. Single crochet 3 times. We begin immediately with the repeat. So we're going to single crochet 3 times, beginning in that very first stitch. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to front post double crochet down into that foundation row again. By going down into the foundation row, we're actually kind of between the foundation row and not all the way down. If you look behind, you'll see that my hook is between, here's a post, there's a stitch, there's my hook, there's another stitch, there's a post. So you see that my hook is kind of landing between the 2 posts on the back of the piece. You don't need to worry about that right now, but that's how the stitch will come together so that you have ridges, or ribs, excuse me, alternating. That's 1 repeat. So again, we're going to do another repeat. That's 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3 single crochet. And now we're going to do a back post. Not a back post. Oh my goodness, how confusing am I? Now we're going to do another front post double crochet so that it lands between the 2 posts on the back. There are no back post double crochet in this. Forgive me for misspeaking there. Another repeat. 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches and a front post double crochet. I'm finding where that goes, making sure I'm landing it in the right spot. The first 3 rows here are clearly the hardest because once you have it set up, it's going to go very rhythmically, very easily. You're not even going to have to double check that you're landing your stitches in the right spot because they're just going to naturally fall into place. This row here, double checking that the front post is falling where it belongs. Probably, and again, and by what I mean when I say falling where it belongs is we've got a rib, a stitch, my hook has fallen into the next one, another stitch, and a rib. So that's all of your repeats. On row 3, you're going to do that 8 times again, and then single crochet 3 times as according to the directions written. So let's single crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3. If you've completed these first 3 rows, I promise now it's going to get easier. Because now we're just going to repeat those rows 2 and 3 again. So I'm going to do single crochet, or excuse me, chain 1, not counting as a stitch, turn. Now I'm going to do a single crochet as written in row 2, and now I do a front post double crochet. What's important about this front post double crochet is it's going to go into the last front post double crochet. So yarn over into the last front post double crochet, front post double crochet, and chain 3, or excuse me, single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. Do that again. Front post double crochet into the original very first row 2 front post double crochet. So this is row 4 we're now working. And you'll see we do the repeats. That was that's the beginning of 1 repeat. 1, 2, 3. So we're doing row 2. We're working row 5. No. We're working row 4. And the front post double crochets are going into the front post double crochets of row 2. Three single crochets, front post double crochet into the one you've already made below. 3 single crochets, front post double crochet into row 2, and following the directions for row 2, a last single crochet, a single crochet. Row 4 is complete. Now you can start to see the ribs forming. If I pop them up with my thumb, you can see them a little better. Moving on to row 5, chain 1, turn. Now we're going to once again follow the directions for row 3. Single crochet 3, beginning in that very first stitch. 1, 2, 3. Front post double crochet. Again, we're going to front post double crochet into the front post that's already there. So that's working down into the row 3 from previous. And that's 1 repeat. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet down into the one below it, or excuse me, front post double crochet down into the one below it. Clearly, I am not meant to make videos where I talk and crochet at the same time. I keep misspeaking. Hopefully, you can see what I'm doing a little better. We're going to keep going all the way across as instructed in row 3. Currently working row 5. And again, the trick here is that the front post double crochet works around the post of the one below it. This row, again, after you finished your repeat 8 times, ends with 3 single crochet. And you can just begin to see the ribs forming now on the back and on the front. They'll pop a little more each time you come around and catch them with the one from below, with the one from above. I hope that helps you create square 4 vertical ribs of the Afghan crochet along sampler. Good luck. Keep asking questions if you've got them. Keep pointing out my errors as I make them, and we will all have a finished Afghan at the end of the year. Thanks.